Hello everyone, myself Prakash Biradar, Assistant Professor in the Department of Pharmacology, KLE College of Pharmacy, Belgaum. So today we learn about chemotherapy of sulfonamides, one of the first antimicrobial agents. Sulfonamides, these are the learning object of today's presentation. So at the end of this topic, you can able to know the introductions and also history, definitions in that chemical structure of the sulfonamides and its classifications, mechanism of actions, adverse effect, and also clinical uses. Okay. So sulfonamides, they are nothing but an sulfonyl amides, that is the sulfonamide in the benzene ring structures at the para positions. So they are looking similar to the para-aminobenzoic acids. So these are the first antimicrobials. They are very effective against the pyogenic bacterial infections. So they consist of sulfonamide structures. So they are related to the PABA, and some of the chemical structures similar to this sulfonamides are thiazides, acetazolamides, dapsones, and also sulfonyl ureas. Physically, they will be available as a white powder and mild acidic and also water soluble salts with the base. So this is about the history, how the evolution of sulfonamide were started. In 1923, Dogmack, one of the tripper by the profession, he was screening the dye which is possessing an antibacterial property. So in that it is showing the MIC of some of the microbials. So after that he was tested in the preclinical, especially over the mouse. So over the wound of that is streptococcal infected mouse can be treated with that particular dye. So that dye, it is nothing but an sulfonamide cracidine. So commonly it is called as Prontosil red. So this cures the that is streptococcal infection in the mouse. So this is how the evolution of the sulfonamide antimicrobial was started. After knowing all about this, his own that is Dogmack daughter is suffering from some of the infections. He cured by giving this particular dye, and she was cured from that particular infections. So now in the 1937, this Prontosil was released into the market, and then the first antimicrobial was started for the treatment for infections. So this is how the Prontosil it will be looking like. So this is similar to the para-amino benzene sulfonamide, that is the Prontosil, which is similar like structure with the PABA. Okay. Now coming to the classification of the sulfonamides. So depending upon the pharmacokinetic aspects, so depending upon the plasma protein bounded, they can possess short acting, intermediate acting, and long lasting. Because so depending upon their plasma THF, if they are highly bounded to the plasma protein, there will be plasma THF will be more, and they are said to be a long acting. So in that way they can be classified. Short acting like sulfadiazine, sulfadimidine, and sulfaestamide, whereas the intermediate acting like sulfamethoxazole, and longer acting like sulfadoxine, sulfamethoxypyrazine, and dimethoxin are the long acting. So these long acting, they are having more than the 20 hours of plasma TF. And along with that, some other classifications are also there, like topical usage. So topically used mefenide, silver sulfadiazine, and also sulfaestamide. And another like ulcerative colitis, sulfasalazine is one of the drugs. So these are the general properties about the sulfonamides. So basically they are bacteriostatic, either of the gram positive or gram negative, or towards the both also they will be possessing bacteriostatic. But in urine they will be acting as a sidal. So because of that only they can be used as a UTI in UTI infections. Especially they were forming a crystal urea in the base pH. Okay. So because of that also some renal toxicities also poses. They are susceptible towards the Streptococcus pyogenes, H. influenzas, H. duraceae, and some other like even cholera and chlamydia, actinomycetes. So they will be very active. And over the few strains of Staphylococcus aureus, gonococci, meningococci, pneumococci, E. coli, and Shigella, they are very active against these kind of the microbials. So chlamydia, trichoma, lymphoma, granuloma, venereum, and even in the conjunctivitis, they are very active. So they were even very active against some of the protozoal infections like the Plasmodium vivax and the Plasmodium, which were causing the malaria, especially the combination of the sulfadoxine and pyrimethamine. They can be used in the malaria and also in the toxoplasmosis. Sulfadazine plus pyrimethamine, they can be useful. They can be used for the some other infections of the co-trimoxazole, that is the sulfamethoxazole and trimethoprim, they can be useful. Now, moving towards the mechanism of actions, Woods and Field, they are having the certain hypothesis or theory towards the mechanism of sulfonamides like so usually the folic acid is synthesized by the microbial from the pteridine. So pteridine plus the para-amino benzoic acid to form an pteridine PABA. So plus glutamate plus this will later converted by the help of this that is the pteridine plus PABA in presence of pteridine synthetase enzyme to form an pteridine PABA. And this pteridine PABA later by the help of dihydrofolate reductase enzyme, they will forming into the folic acids. Okay. So this can be inhibited. Dihydropteridine formations can be inhibited by the sulfonamide by acting over the pteridine synthetase enzymes. Okay. So humans are synthesizing very less, but they will be supplemented through the diet, and very less synthesis will be there, and they are because of that they are less active against some of the sulfonamides. Okay, so this is the flow chart of the mechanism of actions. So PABA, that is the pteridine plus PABA, pteridine synthetase enzyme to form an dihydropterinoic acids. So this dihydropterinoic acid converted into dihydrofolic acid by the dihydrofolate synthetase enzyme. And later dihydrofolic acid is converted into tetrahydrofolic acid, that is the folic acid, by the help of dihydrofolate reductase enzymes. So this so formed folic acid is useful for the microbial to synthesize the thymidine, purine and methionine. So these are the components of the DNA formations. So they are very useful in the DNA formations. So sulfonamides, it will inhibit the dihydroternoic acid in the first step only. So formation of dihydroternoic acid doesn't take place, then there is no folic acid formation, and thus there is no purine and pyrimidine formations, and thus there is no synthesis of DNA will take place. So sulfonamides can also possess a certain resistance by the certain microbial, namely of the Staphylococcus aureus, pneumococci, gonococci, meningococci, Streptococcus pyogenes, E. coli, Shigella. So these are the mechanisms through which they will cause us resistance by increasing the production of more PABA, especially the Staphylococcus and Neisseria. They will increase the PABA and becoming a less efficiency of the sulfonamide. So they can changes the binding or low affinity towards the folate synthetase also. Sometimes the enzyme can change its binding domain for the sulfonamides. And even the microbial, they can alternate the pathway for the folate synthetase by passing through the folate synthetase enzymes. So, and also they will transfer R factor through the chromosomal or plasmid mediated to the microbial. In thus, there will be resistance will be possessed. If one class of the resistance of the sulfonamide, then whole class of the sulfonamide will be resistant. This is the pharmacokinetic aspect. Sulfonamides are completely absorbed from GIT, extended of the plasma protein bind to the 10 to 95%. If they are longer acting, they are more highly bounded towards the plasma proteins, and they are widely distributed even in the serous cavity also. They will be metabolized by the non-microsomal like the acetyltransferase in the liver, slow and fast acetylators. Acetylated, they will becoming an inactive metabolite. They will be excreted through the urine. If the urine is more basic, then the crystal urea formation will take place. Acetylated form accumulate in the blood to form and toxic in the renal. Sometimes it will produces nephrotoxicity also. Sulfonamides, they will possess certain adverse reactions like nausea, vomiting, epigastric pain, crystal urea, hypersensitivity, exfoliative dermatitis, Sejong syndromes for the long-acting ones. Even they will possess hepatitis, hemolysis, especially in the glucose 6-phosphatase, deficiency of that enzyme. So in such patient, they will possess hemolysis also. Carnicitrine, citrus, that is displacement of the RBCs, can also be possessed. So these are the certain individual sulfonamides, their general characteristics will be there. And sulfonamides, coming to their uses, they can be used for the UTI, that is the urinary tract infection caused by the E. coli, and mirabilis, P. mirabilis, and in that cases sulfazoxazole 1 gram 4 times a day, it can be useful. They can be used in the malaria, especially in the sulfadoxine plus pyrimethamine combinations, they can be useful. Toxoplasmosis for the sulfadiazines plus trimethoprim, and they can be used in ulcerative colitis. Sulfasalazine in the 1 to 4 grams, they can be used, or 500 mg every 6 hoursly, they can be useful. So locally they can be useful for the antiseptic and also for the topical usage of the ophthalmic preparations. 10 to 30% of the sodium sulfacetamide, they can be used for ophthalmic preparation in the bacterial conjunctivitis and trichomonas infections of the eyes. Mephenide acetate 1% cream, they can be bestly known for the antiseptic creams, and also they can be used for the silver sulfadiazine, one of the known for the antiseptic topical cream for the burns, so they can be useful, or even in the lesions of the chronic ulcerations, they can be useful also. So this is about the sulfonamides. Thank you.